A very good morning to all my dear students. Welcome to GC Tech Hub CS Tutorials. In today's class, we are going to discuss some important questions, some important programming questions where we will be discussing two programs involving nested loops. So come on, let's start with our program. So as you can see, the first program over here is write a Python script to calculate sum of the following series. So this is your program. So here this is the series which we have to calculate the sum of, and so you can see that the first term is 1, the second term is 1 plus 2, then we have 1 plus 2 plus 3. So you have to find the sum of n terms of this series, and along with that you have to find the sum of individual term and n terms of the individual series also. Let us first figure out the logic of this program. So the very first thing which we will be needing is the number of terms, that is n terms. So we will be calculating the sum of the series. So you can already see that there are n terms here, where this is the first term, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on till n term. And each of the term is a series itself. Each of the terms is a series. Like 4 is a series from 1 to 4. 3 is a series of 1 to 3, then n is a series from 1 to n. So we can do it using a for loop, where using two for loops, in fact two nested for loops, where the outer loop can handle the number of terms, that is 1 to n, and the inner loop can handle the sum of numbers from 1 to I. If I is the loop control variable for outer loop, and if j is the loop control variable for inner loop. So we can easily do it that way. So outer loop can be like, I'll take I 1 to n, and inner loop we can take j 1 to I. So as we have figured out the basic logic of this program, so we can now write the pseudocode. So our first step would be start. The second step would be we will be taking the values now, that is initialize I as 1. So what we can do is, because this is going to be the part of the for loop, so we will first read number of terms, that is n, from the user, and we will initialize, or we will set the value of s, which will be the sum of terms, that will be set to 0, and now initialize I as 1. Then the fifth step would be, if I is less than equal to n, then go to step 6, otherwise go to step X. So we will be deciding what those steps are little later. Now inside this loop we have to calculate the sum of the individual terms which are series in themselves. Okay, so for that we will again take a small variable, that is term sum, or s, we can just write st for that, and we'll write set st equals 0. Again, that will be the sum of individual terms which are series terms. Okay, then we will initialize j as 1. Then 8 would be, if j is less than equal to I, then go to step 9, otherwise go to step Y. So we don't know what is Y right now. We will see that a little later. So now inside this, what we are going to do is calculate the sum of the series. So we will write st compute st equals st plus j, which is the value starting from 1 to I. 10 will be update expression, update j equals j plus 1. Then next step would be go to step 8, which is the inner loop. Now the outer loop, part of outer loop, that is now we have to calculate the sum of the main series which was taken as S. So we will write compute S equals S plus ST, where ST is the individual sum of the series, which that is series terms. Then update I equals I plus 1, and then go to step 5, loop back to step 5, and step number 15 would be print sum of series, which is S, the final sum of series, and finally it will be stop. And now we will again trace back to step 8. So if this condition is false, then we will be going to the step immediately after go to, that is step 12. And the first one is immediately after go to, that is immediately after step 14, which is step 15. So the pseudocode is done. Now let us write the program. So now the program is going to be, so first will be you have to keep a watch on the line numbers which are already there. So first we will be coding line number 2, that is read number of terms. So that would be int input enter, sorry, or I'll simply write how many terms. So n has been input, then setting of s equals 0, so that I have done, which will be storing the sum of series. Then step number 4, initialize I, then step number 5, and step number 9 and 10, these will be crunched, sorry, not 9, 10 and 11, they will be crunched into one single statement, that is for I in range. And because we are starting it from 1 and we have to end it at n, so we will write n plus 1, and our skip value is already 1. So our update expression and looping back to step 8, sorry, looping back to step 5. So here we are actually crunching these two steps, these step number 4 5 and step number 13 and 14, because this is the outer loop. So the outer loops boundary is over here. Outer loop block is still from step number 4 to step 14, where 4 5 are already there, initialization and the, that is start value, stop value, and 13th one is update expression, which is already the skip value, and looping back, that is already handled by Python internally. Now within this we will have set st equals 0, that is step 6. So we will write here st equals 0, which is the sum of series terms. Each of the terms which are series in themselves. Okay, so sum st will be storing the sum of those terms, those series. Then for j in range, now j will be step number 8. It will be step number 7 8, and it will be 10 and 11. So I'm going to crunch those. So j starts from 1 and it will end at I, that means our stop value has to be given as I plus 1, and here I will write st plus equal to j. I have used the augmented assignment operator, and already the update expression will be done, looping back will be done automatically. So we come to step number 12, where s plus equal to st I will be writing, and every time when the inner loop completes its iteration and the outer loop iterates for the next time, you will see that this inner sum of the series will always be reset back to 0, so that it calculates a fresh sum of the individual series. And so update expression is also done over here, and now we will be printing sum of series is, that is S. So with this our program is also done. So now let's run the program. How many terms? If we have 5 terms, we are getting sum of series as 35. If we have 3 terms, we have sum of series as 10. So let's do the dry run for that. So here is the program as you can see. So we will first ask for the number of terms from the user, that is n. So n is 3 as we have already provided. Then we will take S, that is the sum of the series, but before taking S we will take I, we will take J, S and ST, these four values. So S is set to 0 and we start with the outer loop for I in range 1 to n plus 1. So let us first figure out what values I will take, because it is n plus 1 and n plus 1 is 4. So it will take the values 1, 2 and 3, because we wanted it to iterate till 3, that is n, so we had taken n plus 1 here. Then st equals 0 right in the beginning, and j starts from 1, ends at I plus 1. So j will be starting at 1 and I is already 1. Okay. So and j will be ending at what value? Because I plus 1, that is 1 plus 1 is 2. So it should end at 1. Now st plus equals j. So what will be st now? 1 plus 0, which is 1. Okay. Then again we go back. Now because this loop had to execute only once, so it has completed its execution, because next time j's value will be 2, which is more than, which is actually equal to I plus 1. So it will terminate there and the loop control will come over here. So it will be added to the main sum. Then again we go back to the outer loop now, where I will be taking 2, and then st is again set to 0, but sum is set to 1 as you can see over here, and j starts from 1 and ends at I plus 1. So because I is 2, so j will be ending at 2, because here we have I plus 1, that is 3. So j starts from 1, okay, and j has to end at 1 only. It has to end at 2, because we have 2 plus 1, that is 3 as the stop value. And now firstly 1 will be added to this st, so it becomes 1, and then 2 will be added to 1, which makes it as 1 plus 2 equals 3, and finally come out of the loop, and this will be s plus equals this, so s will become what? It will now become 1 plus 3, that is 4. So at the end now we have 4 here, we have 0 here, 1 here and 3 here. So now j will take up values 1, 2 and 3. So firstly 1. So this part will actually be adding now 1 plus 0 will be 1. Then 2 plus 1 will be 3 and 3 plus 3 will be 6. And then this 6 plus 4 will actually become what? 10. And next time, now because I had to end at n plus 1, that is 3 plus 1 4, so it has already taken up its maximum value, so my final result is 10. So this is my dry run. Okay. And let's see its flowchart also. So firstly we have start, then it is reading n terms, then after reading n terms we have to first assign a few things, that is s equals 0 and I equals 1, and within this we will again have a loop where I is less than equal to n. If this condition is true, then we will be moving on to the next statement, that is individual sum series terms sum, st equals 0 and j equals 1. Then if j is less than equal to I or not, if this is yes, that means we will be calculating the sum. So it will be st equals st plus j, and j equals j plus 1, which is my update expression also. And now we will again be looping back to this, and if this condition is false, Then we come to the next statement here. And here we will be computing the sum of the main series. So S equals S plus ST and I equals I plus 1. And again it will loop back to the upper loop to this. And if this condition is false, that means we will be exiting. We will first be displaying the sum of the series. That is S, and finally stop. So this is your flowchart where you can see nested loops. Two loops are there. One is the inner loop and one is the outer loop. So this was our first question. Our second question is write a Python script to print the following pattern. Now the first pattern which we have is this. So a very simple pattern, as you can see over here. So what should I do? What should we do with these? So we had already printed asterisks before. Now what we need to print is the actual data values. So you can see that this is line 1. This is line 2, line 3, line 4 and 5. So we can handle lines using a outer for loop. So we can simply write for I, which will start from 1 and it will end at 5. So it will take up values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now because you can see individual values of I and you see that the first line has only one value, second line has two values and so on. So we can take an inner loop which can vary from 1 to I. So when I is 1, it will be 1. When I is 2, when I is 2, it will be 1 and 2. When I is 3, it will be 1, 2 and 3 and so on. So when 1 is there and you can already see that when I is 4, it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4. When I is 5, it has to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So already we are getting a pattern over here. That is the values of J. So this is how the inner loop will be for J equals 1 to I, and we will be printing the value of J. So let's write the code for this. So we will be writing for I in range. Now range will be, we will start from 1 comma and ending at 6. For J in range, we will be starting at 1 and ending at I plus 1 and print the value of J followed by end equals a space because we don't want all the outputs to be on separate lines. Rather, each line should be printed on the same line. The values of each line should be printed on the same line. And after this, a backspace to come out to exit the inner loop and print only a blank line. So this is for line feed after each line of values of J. So let's run the program and you can see that it is giving us this output, right? So in this question, let us see the dry run. So first, okay, let us see a pseudocode also, how we can write the pseudocode for this. First is start, second is initialize I equals 1. Next is if I is less than equal to 5, or alternatively you can also write less than 6 because we have 6 taken 6 there, or I'll write I equal to 5 and in bracket I am writing or I less than. If this is the condition, then go to step 4, otherwise. go to step X. Fourth step is going to be initialize j as 1. Fifth step will be if j is less than equal to I, or we can write j is less than I plus 1, then go to step 6, otherwise go to step Y. And sixth step will be print j, and seventh step will be update j equals j plus 1. Eighth step will be go back to step 5. Ninth step will be line feed or insert line feed. 10th step will be update I equals I plus 1. And 11th step is going to be go to step 3. And 12th step is going to be stop. So this is our pseudocode. Let's do the dry run and see. We had already seen the dry run here, but we will be seeing it once more. So firstly I, then j. So the value and the output is going to be printed somewhere here. So I in range 1, 6. So I takes the value from 1 for j in range 1, I plus 1. So because I is 1, I plus 1 will be 2. So j will iterate only once. Print j. So what will be printed? 1 will be printed followed by a space. So I am representing space in this way, and hence inner loop has completed its execution of that of one iteration, and it comes to this statement, that is line feed. Next I will be 2. So j will be taking up values I to I plus 1. I plus 1 will be 3. So it will be taking up values 1, 2. Okay. And so I'm going to represent it this way right now. Right now i's value is 2. So j will be taking up 1 and 2. So it will be printing 1. It will be printing 2. Then again a line feed because of this statement. Then next value of I will be 3. So j will be taking up values 1, 2 and 3. So again 1, 2 and 3. So the inner loop has completed its execution. So till the time the inner loop executes, only this statement will be executed. Loop control won't come to this statement until and unless inner loop has completed its iteration. And once all the three iterations of the inner loop are complete, then only it will come to print, that is line feed. Now the value of I will be 4, and it will take up values from 1 to 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then change the line again. So again now finally we have the value of I as 5. So j will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And here it has to stop because our ending value is 6. So this is what we get as the output. Next, a simple, very simple program we have, that is this one. So how to solve this problem now? As you can see, it consists of, it is a similar kind of a pattern, but instead of having simple counting numbers, it has odd numbers. The first line contains 1, second line contains 3, third line contains this, and so on. So you can easily make out that when it is 1, first line contains 1. Can we generate these numbers? If I write, we know that odd numbers are usually represented by 2n minus 1. So if I take the values of I as 1, 2, 5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So inside what I'll be doing is I can write it like this, that is 2 into n, where n is equal to I, 2 into I minus 1, can we write it? Because 2 into 1, that is 2 minus 1, which will be equal to 1 only. So we get 1 over here. And if I write 2 into 2 minus 1, which will be equal to 4 minus 1, which will be equal to 3. So I think our work can be accomplished by taking an inner loop also, j, which will vary from 1 to I. And here what I can do is I can simply write 2 into j minus 1. So when I is 1, j has to run from 1 to I, that is 1 times only. So that means 2 into 1 minus 1, which will be equal to 1. Next time when the value of I is 2, so j will be taking up values 1 and 2. So for 1 it will be 2 into 1 minus 1, which is equal to 1, and here it will be 2 into 2 minus 1, which will be equal to 3. So we will get 1 and 3. Next time when i's value is 3, so 1 and 2 will already get for j. And what about 3? So it will be 2 into 3 minus 1, which is equal to 6 minus 1, which is equal to 5. So we are getting that 5 also. So we have almost figured out how to do this. So let's write the program, make the changes here itself in the pseudocode first. The outer one is okay. Inner one is going to be for j is less than I, and we will be printing the values like this: 2 into j minus 1. Only this change we will be making here. So I'm just going to write 2 into j minus 1, and let's do the dry run, and you can easily see that we are getting all the odd numbers over here. So only we made the change of one statement over here and we get our answer. So if you do the dry run on your own, already we have done while deciding the logic of this program, we have already done the dry run. So you can easily find that it is a very simple question where we just need to generate odd numbers for it. So likewise, you can also create many such patterns which will help you in strengthening your logic. So with this, I end today's class over here only. Please practice more questions of these types. Thank you.